These stories were submitted to whyme2k15@gmail.com. Be sure to submit your story and it might be featured in the next Terrifying Tuesday. Number 5. Haunted Campus. This story was submitted by Sabrina. My name is Sabrina and I am 28. This story happened about 7 years ago when I was 21. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was early fall in Maryville, Missouri. I was going to the Northwest Missouri State University for my degree in history. The university has some history to it, which is why I decided to go there. I love places that have rich histories. Anyway, one night I was going to a night class. This wasn't my first night class, but this night was stranger than any other night. I left the class early and began to head back to my dorm. I had my MP3 player with me and decided to listen to some music. I began to listen to Michael Jackson. As I made my way towards the dorm, my MP3 player kept cutting out. I thought I might have accidentally paused it or the battery might have run out. I checked it and it was working fine. As I looked up, all of a sudden I saw this girl walk out the main office building. I found this strange as it was late and the building was shut. It seemed like the girl didn't fit the time period at all. She looked like she was from the 1950s. I was paralyzed in fear and just watched her move across the campus. She then disappeared into Roberta Hall. Once she disappeared, my MP3 player started to play again. I quickly rushed to my room and told my friends what happened, but they just laughed at me. I couldn't get the girl off my mind, and it made me remember an urban legend that was going around the campus. It was about a girl named Roberta who was injured in a terrible explosion on campus in 1951. She later died from her injuries. It still freaks me out today when I think about it, and I always had an eerie feeling when I left my night classes. Number 4. Ghostly Skype Call. This story was submitted by Hayden. I have a story from about 2 years ago which was really spooky, so I decided to share it with you. I'm not exactly the most popular kid in school. I don't really fit in. I'm more into politics, news, and science. Due to this, I don't really have a lot of friends. I decided to try and make some friends on the internet, and so I did. I met someone called Victor from Germany. We had very similar interests and would talk often. One night I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go on my laptop. It was about 2 AM and we were very bored, so I decided to talk to each other over a Skype call. We both had our webcams on and was doing various things to keep ourselves entertained. We watched a few videos and shared our screens so that we was in sync. We done this until about 4 AM, then all of a sudden I heard a tapping on my window. It kinda sounded like somebody was throwing stones at it. I went to check it out and looked out the window but no one was there. It was really dark out except for a few street lights, but I couldn't see anyone. I then sat back down and continued to Skype. That's when I saw Victor. He had a horrific look on his face. I asked him what's wrong and he's really panicking and began to speak in German. I couldn't understand him. He then yelled, "Who was that?" I had no clue what he was talking about. He then went on to explain that when I went to go look out the window, within the darkness of my room, he saw a very pale woman with dark hair and jet black eyes. He said she was walking across my room. I immediately began to freak out like anybody else would. I grabbed a lighter that was on my desk and took my laptop and sat in my closet. It may sound silly, but I felt safe in there. I then began to hear heavy breathing coming from inside my room. I was terrified and had no clue what to do. I was pretty much just frozen in my closet. The breathing was getting heavier, then I heard my bedroom door creak as if someone was leaving. I gave it a few minutes and then looked out. Thankfully, nobody was there. I then heard a loud bang as if someone slammed my front door. It woke everybody up in the house. I told them what happened and they phoned the police. The police arrived, but they said they didn't see any signs of forced entry. Number 3. Crawl Space. This story was submitted by Francesca. This happened to me when I was quite young, so I don't remember some specific details. I was 7 years old when this happened. I was at my friend's house. Her room is upstairs along with her brother's. There is a tiny part of crawl space under their room which contains pipes and stuff, but also connects their rooms. There is a small trapdoor in the back of my friend's bedroom closet to access the crawl space. The only other entrance is a door in the hallway closet, but a bookcase is in front of it. It was only me, her, and her brother in the house, and her brother was asleep, so we decided to try to scare him by crawling in the space and banging above on his floor and whatnot. As the space is so small, we decided to move the bookcase so we could get out on the other side. I decided to go in first to see what it was like down there. I went in and waited for a bit just to scope out the place. Then I began to hear crying. I thought it was my friend, so I called out, but she didn't answer. This freaked me out, so I went for the exit where the bookcase was. I pushed the door, but it only opened a tiny bit. Somebody had pushed the bookcase back towards the door. I thought my friend was playing a prank on me, so I called out again, but it turns out she was just a bit behind me. I asked my friend if she heard the crying, but she didn't. It freaked her out, so she turned round and went for the exit. As there is not much space, I had to wait for her to get out first before I could move. I was waiting at the other end near the blocked exit. Then, there was furious banging on the blocked exit door. I was sitting right next to it. It scared the life out of me. I rushed towards the exit but clearly couldn't move too fast. That's when I saw her, a girl, right in front of me, on all fours with black holes for eyes and long black hair. She seemed to have a blue glow about her. I shut my eyes and began to scream. The thing also began to scream. Then, my friend came rushing into the space and grabbed me. I freaked out as I thought it was the thing. I opened my eyes, but the thing had disappeared. We both got out the space and never went there again. Number 2. Home intrusion. This story was submitted by Van Mill. This is what happened to me at the start of the year. I was home alone because my mum was at a party and so was my older brother. I always used to play my video games out in the lounge room because it had a surround sound system, and I'd always felt that it was a better gaming experience to play with better sound. So anyway, it was about 10:30 PM on a Saturday night. I was enjoying myself and playing Xbox Live with my best friend online. Anyway, I started to get hungry, so I got up and got a packet of corn chips. I then went to go sit back down to begin to play. As soon as I sit down, I hear a faint tap on the window. A sudden shock of fear strikes through my body, as I knew that my mum and older brother weren't supposed to be home until the next day. But anyway, I brush it off and keep on playing, but after about 10 seconds or so, I hear somebody or something walking or shuffling outside. I turn the TV down and I can still hear something moving. It's as if it's trying to get my attention or something. I get up and I turn all the lights off and I look out the window. I can barely see anything, but I can see a dark figure. It looks as if it's staring right into my eyes with a blank stare, and I could only make out that it was a body type of a man, and it looked as if it was holding something, but I couldn't tell what it was. I didn't know how to react. I run into my room and I rig the door so that it can't be opened from the other side. I grab my pocket knife and call my mum. She doesn't believe me, but I explain to her that it's true. She started to believe me because she could tell that I was panicking by the tone in my voice. She tells me to call the police, so I call them and I explain to the woman on the phone that there is a man outside my house and where I live. As soon as I hang up, I begin to hear whistling outside. It sounds like he's saying, "I'm gonna get you." Then there's a rapid banging on my bedroom window. I scream out to the freak that the police are coming and that I have a knife. He just doesn't react and keeps on whistling and tapping on my window. About 1 minute of non-stop tapping and whistling, it just suddenly stops. I start to think that he got bored and went away, but I was wrong. I can hear the door handle of the back door viciously trying to be opened, but thank God I always lock the doors when I'm home alone. About 5 minutes later, I hear a loud knock on the front door and a loud shout that it's the police. As soon as they knock, I hear my backyard fence being banged on and being climbed over. As I gain the confidence to open my door, I open the front door and let the police inside. They investigated everything, but there was no fingerprints or anything. The only thing that was left was a dent in my fence and footprints in the wet dirt. Till this day, I always keep all doors locked and my knife in my room. I can't imagine what would have happened if I didn't lock all the doors. Number 1. This is my own personal experience and it's quite terrifying, so I thought I might as well put it in here. It happened quite a while ago. It's just me and my 2 other cousins, and we was in my cousin's house and we was quite bored, so we decided to mess around with an Ouija board. So we looked up how to do it on Google and we made our own one, and we just writ it out on paper, and we just Google searched all the methods to do it, like light a candle and whatever else it said. So we done all of that, and then we started messing around with it. And first I was we used a shot glass and I was pushing it purposely just to mess with them. Then I stopped doing that and it carried on moving, and I thought it was just them messing with me. And then by the end, it started like spelling out murder and kill and stuff like that. So it was just like, forget this. We all took our hands off, and the shot glass moved on its own for about 10 seconds. Like it just darted across the Ouija board. I was just like, oh, hell no. I'm not messing with this. I blew out the candle, and then my cousin's toilet flushed on its own. And then we heard a loud bang in the corridor, and we went and checked on what it was, and there was a shoebox just laying in the corridor, which like must have got pushed out the bedroom somehow. And it just scared the life out of me. I was just like, I'm leaving. See you later. And I just left her in her house with my other cousin. I was just like, screw this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our videos. Goodbye.